You listen close and you listen hard, bucko. The next click you hear is me hanging up. The one after that is me pulling the trigger.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies within movies.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Granny, ew!
To be or not to be? Not to be.
For this list, we'll be looking at the fictional movies that exist inside the universe of real films. Whether or not they were later made into actual movies is irrelevant, so long as they were non-existent at the time of their first cinematic appearance. Which fake movie do you wish was real? Let us know in the comments. Now, let the fakeness begin. Number 10. Rick Dalton movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino has always gotten a kick out of old movies, so we knew we'd have something in store for us when his latest protagonist was to be an actor in 1960s Hollywood. That actor is Leonardo DiCaprio's Rick Dalton, a soon-to-be washed-up Western serial actor who has a few low-budget action movies to his name, including a World War II film, The 14 Fists of McCluskey.
The 14 Fists of McCluskey. What a picture. What a picture.
Good picture, yeah.
From there, Dalton sojourns in Italy to make a series of spaghetti films like Operation Dynamite, for which Brad Pitt's Cliff Booth serves as a stunt double. We even get to see an alternate version of The Great Escape, wherein Dalton subs in for Steve McQueen. Too much good stuff.
Tunnel man, engineer.
Flyer.
I suppose what's called in the American Army a hotshot pilot.
Number 9. Robert Zemeckis' romantic comedy, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Like much of Charlie Kaufman's filmography, I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a rather surreal and inaccessible film. But one thing most people can get on board with is a purposely cheesy romantic comedy sandwiched in the middle of it. Watching it is our unnamed janitor as he enjoys his lunch in a classroom. We only catch the final scene, in which the male lead makes a grand romantic gesture during the female lead's work shift at a diner.
No, not a crumb of meat or dairy has crossed her lips since she was 5 years old, and she realized that a hamburger is just a ground-up cow. She spent the rest of her life trying to make the world a better place for animals, and I love her.
The customers enjoy his speech, but his stunt gets her fired. The abrupt ending then reveals that it was directed by none other than the legendary Forrest Gump director, Robert Zemeckis.
Idiot.
It's totally random, but a fun detour. Number 8. See You Next Wednesday. John Landis movies. A running gag, this is the Wilhelm scream of movies within movies. In most John Landis movies, dating back to his first feature, Schlock, there are references to a fake film called See You Next Wednesday.
Birth of a Nation. Then, Gone with the Wind. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Love Story. See You Next Wednesday. And now, Schlock.
Most commonly in poster format, the actual content of the film seems to change each time, from Western to giant monster movie to skin flick to space opera.
I don't believe it.
It's even the werewolf movie playing at the beginning of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Scrawled in blood. What's it say? See you next Wednesday.
As Landis explains, See You Next Wednesday was the title of a script he wrote as a teenager, taken from a line of dialogue in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
See you next Wednesday.
You know, we might just need to see that script to get some closure on this whole saga. Number 7. Hamlet, Last Action Hero. The entire plot of Last Action Hero is a movie within a movie. The cliche-ridden Jack Slater 4. But for our money, we want something more than a familiarly over-the-top action movie landscape. Yep, you guessed it. Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Hamlet.
Hey, Claudius. You killed my father. big mistake.
Even in the world of Last Action Hero, this film is fictional. It's merely Danny's daydreamed update to Laurence Olivier's 1948 version. But we think Danny has a keen producer-like instinct. Obviously, if there's anything William Shakespeare's creation is missing, it's a cigar-chewing, machine-gun-firing Schwarzenegger livening up proceedings.
To be or not to be. Not to be.
To be or not to be? Yeah, we say this needs to be. Number 6, Mant, Matinee.
If a man and an ant were exposed to radiation simultaneously, the result would be terrible indeed. For the result would be Mant.
This Forgotten Joe Dante movie is arguably one of his best, and that's largely due to its delicious send-up of Cold War anxieties juxtaposed against cheesy sci-fi horror. In Matinee, John Goodman plays a wannabe Alfred Hitchcock-esque producer whose latest B-movie schlockfest Mant stirs up a frenzy in the town of Key West when it premieres. In case the portmanteau went over your head, Mant details the shocking story of a man whose DNA is infused with that of an ant at the hands of some pesky radiation.
And that's how he became a
Mant.
Reminiscent of Them or The Fly, the character becomes bigger and less human before wreaking havoc on the city.
Good Lord.
Bill, put that down!
Dante and company even shot approximately 15 minutes of this would-be cult classic for our viewing pleasure.
Why are you keeping your hand?
Because it's not my hand, Carol. It's not a hand at all. Not since Bill bit me.
Number 5, Goodwill Hunting 2, Hunting Season. Jay and Silent Bob strike back. Jay and Silent Bob find themselves on more than one movie set during their trip to Hollywood, even getting to play the stoner superhero versions of themselves in Blunt Man and Chronic.
Damn, this must have set him back a couple $100.
But the fake movie that made us laugh the most was the totally unnecessary sequel to Goodwill Hunting titled Goodwill Hunting 2, Hunting Season.
You're like a child. What do I keep telling you? You gotta do the safe picture, then you do the art picture. And then sometimes you gotta do the payback picture because your friend says you owe him.
Bringing back Matt Damon and Ben Affleck to star and director Gus Van Sant to count his money, the snippet we see is a rehash of the scene in which Will schools the snooty bar patron. Only this time, there's way less pontificating and way more action.
I don't like the sound of them apples, Will. What are we gonna do?
Jackie?
Yeah?
It's hunting season.
Actually, you know what? We take it back. This sequel is totally necessary.
Applesauce, bitch.
Number 4, Stab franchise. Scream franchise. The first Scream was meta enough when it came out in 1996, but that was nothing compared to where the sequels would take it.
Stab 2? Who'd want to do that? Sequels suck. No.
From the opening scene in Scream 2, we learn that the events of the first film have since been made into a movie called Stab, starring Heather Graham as the original Drew Barrymore character, Luke Wilson as Billy, and Tori Spelling as Sydney.
Look, I've been going through a lot lately, Billy. And my mom...
Sid, I think you need to just deal with that and move on. I mean, when my mom left my dad, I accepted it. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
After Scream 3 detailed the murders of the cast of Stab 3, Scream 4 upped the ante by including 2 movie-with-a-movie fake-outs in the opening scene starring Lucy Hale, Anna Paquin, and Kristen Bell.
A Facebook killer? You're kidding me, right?
I guess now it would be Twitter. That'd make more sense.
Apparently, at this point, the Stab series has 7 installments, one of which involved time travel. Can we please see these?
But it's illogical. It begs the question that if the beginning of Stab 7 is Stab 6, then is the beginning of Stab 6 Stab 5? And if so, what is Stab 4 about?
You're overthinking it.
Number 3, Grindhouse Trailers. Grindhouse.
If you are thinking of going into this house, don't.
For some of us, the best part of going to the movies is getting sneak peeks of what's to come in the form of 2-minute trailers. As part of the Grindhouse double feature, however, filmgoers got 5 pulpy over-the-top fake trailers. each made by a prominent director. There was Rob Zombie's Werewolf Women of the SS, Edgar Wright's Don't, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, Jason Eisner's Hobo with a Shotgun, and Robert Rodriguez's Machete.
But they soon realized
Coming after us.
they just with the wrong Mexican.
The latter two of which were later made into actual movies.
Maybe you end up like me. A hobo with a shotgun.
They're just the right mood setters for such gleefully trashy features. So much we wish they were all real.
Thanksgiving. You'll come home for the holidays in a body bag.
Number 2, Angels with Filthy Souls, Home Alone.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
This is the movie within a movie that had audiences thinking it really existed. Upon being left home alone, Kevin takes it upon himself to eat barrels of ice cream and watch rubbish. His VHS of choice is Angels with Filthy Souls, a gangster flick that was a send-up of the 1938 film Angels with Dirty Faces.
Morning, gentlemen. Nice day, but might I?
It features a gangster named Johnny who's perhaps a bit too familiar with his Tommy gun.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
The fun doesn't stop there, however, as the sequels Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, gave us the appropriately titled Angels with Even Filthier Souls, which led to one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
On your knees.
Not restricted to the Home Alone universe, the film was also seen playing in Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few movies within movies that we certainly wish were real, so they deserve some honorable mention. Previews of coming attractions. History of the World Part 1. Jews in Space? Sounds like something Mel Brooks would actually make.
We're Jews are in space. We're zooming along, protecting the Hebrew race.
The Night the Reindeer Died. Scrooged. Die Hard at the North Pole? Yeah, sign us up.
It's Lee Majors, the $6 million band.
The Case. Super 8. We're glad an alien attack didn't keep them from making their zombie movie.
Excuse me, sir, were you in the wreck?
George Simmons movies. Funny people. Redo would be right on par for an Adam Sandler movie.
I wiped your ass our entire childhood. Now it's your turn, buddy.
Well, you're the one that asked the wizard to make you young again.
I didn't mean this young.
The Three Amigos. Three Amigos. Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short are charismatic even in a silent movie.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Tropic Thunder Trailers, Tropic Thunder. The fake trailers strike again.
In 2013, when the Earth's rotation came to a halt,
It has declared all of North America a disaster area.
My fellow Americans to come together.
the world called on the one man who could make a difference.
The entirety of this movie centers around the ill-conceived filming of a Vietnam War epic starring some outlandish actors. As such, opening with some fake trailers for those actors only makes sense. First, there's Scorcher 6, Global Meltdown, starring Ben Stiller's Tug Speedman, an overly serious sequel for a franchise that's so uninspired, it's resorted to reversing its own formula.
Who left the fridge open? Tug Speedman. Scorcher 6. Global Meltdown.
Then it's The Fatties Fart 2, a Nutty Professor parody wherein Jack Black's Jeff Portnoy plays all the flatulent family members.
Will there be anything else?
Oh, yes, my dear man. More beans.
Granny, ew!
But perhaps the funniest comes in the form of Satan's Alley, the over-the-top drama about two monks starring Robert Downey Jr.'s Kirk Lazarus and MTV Movie Award Best Kiss winner Tobey Maguire.
Satan's Alley.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.